All right, I will call to order the February 12th, 2026 regular meeting. Please stand for the pledge. Marissa, can we have the roll call, please?
President Ruffing.
Here.
Vice President Anzier.
Here.
Commissioner Balakrishna.
Here.
Commissioner Jacks.
Here.
Commissioner Janner, absent. Commissioner Risvold.
Here.
Commissioner Thompson.
Here.
President Ruffing, I've been informed that Commissioner Janner has requested to participate remotely due to business.
Move to allow remote participation of Commissioner Janner per Section 7 of the Open Meetings Act.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Anzier.
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson.
Yes.
Commissioner Balakrishna.
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks.
Yes.
Commissioner Risvold.
Yes.
President Ruffing.
Yes. Commissioner Janner, can you hear us okay?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. All right. You are not on mute, just so you are aware. Do we have any matters from the public?
We do not.
All right, let's move. Oh, geez. Right into reports and updates, starting with Riverwalk. The Riverwalk Commission met yesterday, February 11th. Our main topics of discussion included the Riverwalk brick design and the new plaque that will be added to the front of the Mr. and Mrs. Naperville statue. The next Riverwalk Commission meeting is scheduled for March 11th at 8:15 a.m. at the Municipal Center. Next up is Finance. The Finance Committee met on February 10th. Our discussion there included our annual review of financial policies, the suggestion revisions, mostly of which are very minor. We also discussed a change to WDSRA inclusion services charges. Both of these topics will come before the full board in the coming weeks. Next up is legislative.
No report.
And then Parks and Rec Committee.
So the Parks and Rec Committee met today at 6 p.m. before the main board meeting. We had a couple things. There were updates about the annual capital review, and then there were updates from each of the departments.
Awesome, thank you. Okay, now for the President's report. So the annual IAPD IPRA Soaring to New Heights Conference was held at the end of January, and I was thrilled to see so many of our staff and board members there in attendance. First, I want to start with a few points of district pride. Samira Luthman was recognized by the Illinois Parks and Recreation Association's Communications and Marketing section with a Distinguished Member Award. We're very, very proud of her leadership and her dedication. In addition, Vice President Anzier and Commissioner Thompson were recognized for advancing to new levels in IAPD's board member development program. Vice President Anzier achieved the notable board member level, and Commissioner Thompson reached the distinctive board member level. These milestones they really reflect a strong commitment to professional growth and responsible leadership. Thanks, ladies. So at this time, what I want to do is because there were so many of us there, I'd like to invite any of the commissioners who attended the conference to just share a brief report on their experience and key takeaways, and we will start with Vice President Anzier.
Thank you. So this conference is it's my favorite every year. I absolutely love going. It's always a great opportunity to see kind of how other park districts are operating in a state. There's always something new and surprising that I learn, such as learning about how I think it's Peoria, they actually elect their president for the board, and Springfield. There's a couple places. Like, there's a whole different way of doing things, basically, that I learned. But I really kind of piggybacking a little bit on what President Ruffing said is I really took a lot of personal pride this year with doing the awards ceremony, learning about Samira's award, Allison's, and just seeing all the other people in other park districts getting recognized for their work, not only the staff, but also other board members, is really inspiring. And how every single person who went up there said that about the park district that they worked for, that they had the best staff and the best people to work with. Clearly they were all lying because we have the best, but I appreciate the sentiment because that just goes to show you just how wonderful parks and recreation departments are, and how we're committed to serving the community and how much the community appreciates us and how much we appreciate each other. So those were kind of my biggest moments I wanted to take away, as well as seeing our representation with how many different sessions that were held by some of our staff. I even got to attend a few myself, so I just want to say thanks again to everybody for doing such a fantastic job and really representing this year.
I'm always so honored to be able to go to this conference and represent the Park District, and particularly for me, seeing what other park districts are doing across the state is really interesting and fun. And some of the more interesting and informative sessions that I went to this year, one of them was Everybody Moves, a policy scan of disability and diversity in leisure. This one actually was really interesting because it didn't just focus on individuals' disability. It honed in on individuals in the African American and Latinx communities with disabilities and how there's other barriers that prevent them from using our leisures and our park system, which was really interesting. We went over like a variety of the legislation and policies and looked where gaps might be, which for me, who serves on the legislative committee and has for a few years, that's really interesting to see if we can maybe change some of these things to make leisure a little more accessible. I also attended the Understanding Your Cap Tax Levy, which is something that has confused me since I've come on the board. It's one of the things I appreciate about this conference specifically is that they have board-specific sessions that we can attend, and this one was very helpful and understand a lot of it I already knew, but a lot of it, was really helpful, so I have a better grasp of it. I also attended our very own Dirk Price's, one of his sessions on the legal and legislative updates. His Star Wars references were on point and very much appreciated to break things up during the session. One of my favorite sessions by far, though, was Girls Just Want to Have Fun, Designing Parks with Teen Girls in Mind, which focused on the fact that most parks are simply not designed with teen girls in mind. And myself as a mother of two girls, one teenager, one soon-to-be teenager, it really hit home that teen boys often have spaces reserved for them in parks such as basketball courts, skate parks, and they feel kind of inaccessible to teen girls. Girls feel intimidated by these spaces and usually choose, even though they can utilize them, they don't choose to. So they gave us lots of examples of ways that you could incorporate things that teen girls want. Such as specific ways they sit on benches, so interesting seating and things like that, which was really cool. And one of the things was they like to climb to places, but not too high, just high enough, and then they like to sit there and talk. So that was a really big thing. And it was funny when I went home to talk to my girls about it, immediately they started saying the same thing these girls in the study said, which was well, I'd really like to climb up high and then we can just sit up there and hang out. It was very on point for that, which was really neat. So, just seeing that and wanting to encourage our staff to look for ways that we can make sure that we're drawing in everybody in the community and make sure we're hitting all those little gaps and all those little niche things, at least in one of our parks where we can say, hey, look, we made this just for you. This is designed with you in mind. So yeah, as always, it's such a pleasure to be able to attend these and learn and bring it all back to Naperville. So thank you.
Well, thank you. So a couple of things. One is that when you go to this conference, you just realize how big of a deal it is and how big of a community it is. It's a gigantic conference with all these people, and you realize how important it is to this state and these communities. And it's a real big deal, and it's very exciting to see that and people getting excited about it. So it's enjoyable to go to it. And the session that we have these board sessions. One that was very interesting, and it was one that was about issues, things like FOIA requests, public comment, First Amendment auditors, things like that units of government like this face. And it was kind of timely for this, this unit of government too, for that first topic. And it was very interesting, and it was an hour-packed session, and you see how fast things change, where every single line item he went over, things like, FOIA requests, he said, well, this changed recently. So it's so important to stay on top of these things and have somebody that can just focus on things like even something just like the First Amendment auditors we see in these government agencies and all the rules that changed about that in the last year, and just be able to keep on top of things like that. It's very beneficial, I think, to go to a session like that somebody like me would never be able to keep up on that, reading up on it. So no, I thought the board sessions are very interesting, and it's very good program to go to if you can go. Sure.
Yeah, so this was my first state conference, which was super exciting. I really appreciate the opportunity to attend, and I went to a lot of the boardmanship sessions also, since this was my first one, and I thought it was great to just dive into some of that stuff. I also attended the legal legislative, one of the sessions where Attorney Price was one of the presenters. I also attended just a couple of sessions about how to be, an effective board member, how to strengthen relationships on the board and between staff. I also attended a couple of the finance sessions. That was super important to me so that I can you really understand more about the finances of the Park District. And then I think more than one of us was at the one where we were, it was like a panel of commissioners, and they were talking about addressing today's top issues. So I thought that was very relevant and just great overall to hear from so many commissioners across the state, the work that they're doing, how they're leading their communities, the new ideas that they're bringing. And then, in general, to be able to connect with commissioners and staff from across the state. And I think it's a great way for us to, it's great for us to be able to brag about what we're doing here and the amazing work that we're doing, but also get some new ideas and see what more we can bring to our community. So I just really overall enjoyed my experience at the conference, and I'm looking forward to the future conferences too. This was a really great experience.
Thank you. Commissioner Janner, I just want to make sure you don't want to add anything.
Yeah, no report tonight, but I would like to join the rest of you in commending staff for their presentations and for representing the Naperville Park District so well. Thank you.
Thanks, and thanks everyone for sharing. So my conference experience began with my my first meeting as a member of the IAPD Research Advisory Council, which I'm just thrilled to be a part of. And then some of my session highlights included a Know Your Rights training that was tailored specifically for those in the public park space. Learning about Illinois' only nationally recognized dark sky park was, of course, a highlight for me. And then, like the others have noted that, hearing from other commissioners across the state about how they navigate different challenges was really, really helpful. This was my 5th state conference, and each year I really do walk away with new ideas, new connections, and of course, just a true appreciation for the work that's being done across the state. I just always feel lucky to be a part of this community. So that's that. And then finally, our one staff milestone this month is Maddie Delamata, who's celebrating 5 years of service. She is a park specialist in our Parks South Division. Thank you, Maddie, for your service. And now, moving on to Executive Director Wilson's report.
Thank you, President Ruffing. The 2026 State of the Naperville Park District podcast is now available for listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, and at napervilleparks.org/podcast. Additionally, a full-length video version is available for watching on the Naperville Park District's YouTube webpage. This year's annual address, condensed into one episode, highlights the agency's 2025 accomplishments as well as provides insight on what is planned for 2026. Centennial Beach memberships for the 2026 season are now available for purchase at a discounted preseason rate. Beach members receive exclusive benefits throughout the summer, including early entry on weekdays, discounts at Centennial Grill, and more. Beach memberships can be purchased at the discounted price through Monday, May 25th on the Park District's website for returning members. New members can purchase now at the Alfred Rubin Riverwalk Community Center and Fort Hill Activity Center or at Centennial Beach once it opens for the season on May 23rd. The Spring 2026 program guide will be available for viewing exclusively on our website beginning Wednesday, February 25th. The latest edition includes information on spring programs like baseball and softball, garden plot rentals, and camp programs for spring and summer breaks. Registration for spring programs and summer camps begins Monday, March 2nd. Tuesday, March 3rd, is National Sportsmanship Day, and the Naperville Park District wants to remind athletes, parents, spectators, coaches, and referees of the importance of practicing fair play, good etiquette, and respect for others. This annual day of recognition is celebrated annually on the first Tuesday of March and was established by the International Sports Institute in 1991 with a goal of promoting good sportsmanship around the country and to set high standards for future generations of athletes. In 2020, the Naperville Park District passed a resolution for the observance of National Sportsmanship Day in support of the organization's goal to further promote good sportsmanship within its programs. The Park District continues to demonstrate its commitment to promoting sportsmanship year-round for the benefit of everyone who participates in our programs, from players and coaches to referees and spectators. And finally, as President Ruffing mentioned, at a recent meeting of the Illinois Parks and Recreation Association Communications and Marketing Section, Samira Luthman, the Naperville Park District's Director of Marketing and Communications, was recognized with the section's Distinguished Member Award. Samira serves as a Conference Education Committee co-chair for the section, and the Distinguished Member Award is presented to the section member who exemplifies the qualities of a leader, a collaborator, and an advocate. Congratulations, Samira, on this very deserving recognition, and thank you for all that you do in support of IPRA's Communications and Marketing section and the Naperville Park District. Additional information on our programs, events, and facilities and other Naperville Park District news can be found at napervilleparks.org. That's it.
Thank you. All right, moving on to Treasurer's Report.
Move to approve the December 2025 Treasurer's Report.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice President Anzier?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Balakrishna?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Janner?
Yes.
Commissioner Riswald?
Yes.
President Ruffing?
Yes. Okay, Marissa, will you please read the consent agenda?
Item 5.1, approve January 2026 disbursements in the amount of $2,777,117.34. 5.2, approve January 2026 disbursements made through the Bank of America Purchasing Card Program in the amount of $241,144.27. 5.3, approve January 2026 customer refunds in the amount of $3,124.17. 5.4, approve January 22nd, 2026 regular meeting minutes. 5.5, approve January 22nd, 2026 executive session closed meeting minutes. 5.6, accept the base bid and alternate number 1 of Classic Fence Inc. in the amount of $97,148 as the lowest responsive and responsible bid, and to award the contract for the Naperbrook and Springbrook Golf Course fence improvements, and to authorize staff to carry a further 5% contingency for a total authorized expenditure for the project in an amount not to exceed $102,005.40. 5.7, approve the purchase of 3 2026 John Deere Z994 60-inch Z-Track zero-turn mowers in the amount of $19,204.29 each from AHW LLC for a total expenditure of $57,612.87 through the district's membership in the Sourcewell Purchasing Network. 5.8, approve the purchase of 1 2026 Toro Workman HDX utility vehicle in the amount of $37,494.44 and 1 Toro Z Master 7500D mower in the amount of $65,632 for a total expenditure of $103,126.44 from Reindeers Inc. through the district's membership in the Sourcewell Purchasing Network. 5.9, approve the purchase of 1 2026 Ford F-250 regular cab pickup truck in the amount of $48,363 from Sutton Ford through the district's membership in the Sourcewell Purchasing Network. 5.10, approve the purchase of 2 2026 Ford F-150 police responder pickup trucks from Curry Motors in the amount of $48,555 each for a total expenditure of $97,110 through the district's membership in the Suburban Purchasing Cooperative. 5.11, authorize the executive director to issue a purchase order to Compton Inc. in the amount of $125,385.60 for play equipment for the Spring Hill Park Playground Renovation Project, procured through the district's membership in the Omnia Partners Purchasing Network. 5.12, authorize the executive director to issue a purchase order to Play Power LT Farmington Inc. in coordination with Park Creation Inc. in the amount of $149,865 for play equipment for the Knock Park Playground Renovation Project, procured through the district's membership in the Sourcewell Purchasing Network. 5.13, authorize the executive director to issue a purchase order to Reindeers Inc. in the amount of $140,726 for 2 Toro E Triflex 3360 hybrid mowers, procured through the district's membership in the Sourcewell Purchasing Network. 5.14, authorize the executive director to issue a purchase order to Rangers, Inc. in the amount of $76,757.34 for 2 Toro Turf Pro 500 SL autonomous mowers procured through the district's membership in the Sourcewell Purchasing Network. 5.15, authorize the executive director to issue a purchase order to Rangers, Inc. in the amount of $50,062.26 for a 2026 Toro Groundsmaster 3500D bank mower procured through the district's membership in the Sourcewell Purchasing Network. 5.16, award the contract for the Apache Park Playground Renovation Project to Innovation Landscape, Inc. in the amount of $133,519.01 and to authorize staff to carry a further 5% contingency for a total authorized expenditure for the project in an amount not to exceed $140,194.96. 5.17, award the contract for the Commissioners Park Sports Lighting LED retrofit project to Musco Sports Lighting LLC in the amount of $676,100 and to authorize staff to carry a further 5% contingency for a total authorized expenditure for the project in an amount not to exceed $709,905. 5.18, award the contract for the Fox Hill Greens Playground Renovation Project to Hacienda Landscaping in the amount of $131,333.10 and to authorize staff to carry a further 5% contingency for a total authorized expenditure for the project in an amount not to exceed $137,899.76. 5.19, award the contract for the Willoway Park Playground Renovation Project to Hacienda Landscaping, Inc. in the amount of $147,098.80 and to authorize staff to carry a further 5% contingency for a total authorized expenditure for the project in an amount not to exceed $154,453.74. 5.20, approve change order number 1 for the Ron Ori Community Garden Plots site improvement and Knock Park South parking lot lighting installation project. 5.21, approve the 2025 Cash in Lieu Fund annual report for the fiscal year January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. And 5.22, approve Ordinance 1086, declaring the property as outlined in Exhibit A as surplus property.
Well done. Yeah. That was amazing. Thank you. Should any items be removed from the consent agenda to be considered separately? Seeing none.
Move to accept consent agenda items 5.1 through 5.22.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Vice President Anzier?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Commissioner Balkrishna?
Yes.
Commissioner Jacks?
Yes.
Commissioner Janner?
Yes.
Commissioner Risbald?
Yes.
President Ruffing?
Yes.
Move to approve consent agenda items 5.1 through 5.22.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Great.
Aye.
Thanks. So our next scheduled meeting of the Board of Park Commissioners is scheduled for, it's scheduled twice, set for February 26th, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. here at Fort Hill.
Move to adjourn the February 12th, 2026 regular meeting at 7:21 p.m.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Aye.